What's up, YouTube, and welcome back to Irwin Memorial Zoo. Today, I am mostly finishing, the rest of my Nocturnal house for the aardvark, the sandcat, the fennec fox, the African crested porcupine, the horned viper, the scarab beetle, and the puff adder. Lots of animals in here, and it's been a lot of fun to build. It's also taken a lot of time since there's been so many animals, but I'm really pleased with how it's turned out. So, without further ado, let me show you what I did today to get this 99% complete. So, I started with the fennec foxes. Well, started. I'm halfway through. I started this video with the fennec foxes, and my idea for this habitat is like basically based on the fennec foxes, how they behave in game. The fennec foxes in game are like very active. They're always like running around, doing stuff, and like playing. And I wanted this habitat to sort of, what's the right word? Piggyback off of that mechanic, I guess. So I made this like ramp going all the way up and around. Even though fennec foxes, they can't actually climb in game. I don't know if they can in real life. Probably like a little bit, not like super well, but they don't actually have climbing in game. But I wanted them to have like this like elevated area where they could run around and walk. I'm using the stalactites to sort of make the rocks. One thing that like building like mud walls and rock walls and stuff out of the stalactites has been really cool. I Whoever came up with that idea first, God bless you. It's a great idea. The one thing that kind of bothers me about the stalactites is like the flexi color channels. So like the big wide stalactite pieces, like when you make them the same color, quote unquote, as the big long ones that I'm using here as like the walls, they turn out to be like a completely different color, even though they're this quote unquote again same color if you put them in the flexi color channel. So I end up just getting rid of those ones because I'm like, it don't look right, and I don't want to go through and change the color of these ones to be different from the color of the big ones. Yada yada. Didn't want to do it. And then I ended up just using the real rock pieces, or I guess, the desert rocks. They're supposed to be the real rocks. I ended up using those instead. Because another thing I found with these stalactite pieces is that the hitboxes on them for like the traversable area and stuff is kind of weird, and it extends outside of the actual model of the stalactite, and so it can mess up your traversable area, and it can make your animals look like they're floating, which is obviously not ideal. Another thing I found out with the burrows is that if you use free build, you're free to put the burrow wherever you want, right? Oh, excuse me. Well, not really, because if you use free build to put the burrow in a place where it would be obstructed normally, then the animals can't use it. But then also, when I was playing around with the burrow and stuff, it made some weird things happen where like the animals could use it, but like they were like glitching through the rocks that were over the burrow to get into the burrow. I don't know. Planet Zoo is it's an interesting game. It's got some interesting bugs going on. It's a very like ambitious game, so it's kind of understandable that sometimes things break, especially with the climbing. But we're not going to talk about the climbing right now because the only climbing animal in here is the sandcat, and I hate building climbing frames. But anyways, I'll move on to the outside portion. And so my idea here was to just kind of like sink all the terrain into the ground and then have like an elevated part in the middle where you could like get sort of like an eye level view. So I need to stop recording these at 11:30 to midnight because I keep getting tired and then I have to go to work the next day. But anyways, yeah, building the elevated area so that you can actually see them. Something that I have made a mistake with building habitats in the past is like just kind of like sinking the terrain into the ground so that you're kind of like looking down on the animals, which does not make for the best viewing. But hey, now I know better. You can always learn, and I've learned a lot just by watching other people's YouTube videos. And because like I feel like everyone goes to zoos more than I do for some reason, because everyone talks about all these zoos that they go to and all the things that they learn, and I'm like, man, it's been a minute since I've been to the zoo, but the zoo nearby is the DC Zoo, and I don't really want to drive into DC because that's a pain. But it's been a long time, so like I really need to go. It would probably help me a lot in building all this stuff because I'm not actually like I still, even like a year into playing this game, I feel like I'm not very experienced with this, and like I'm probably doing things that are like not kosher for zoos to do. Well, I know I am in certain situations, but like it's a made up zoo. I can do what I want. I I just want to make things that look good. That's all I care about. Well, sort of. I try to keep to realism, but I've been saying this multiple times while I've been recording this stuff. But anyway, yeah. So this is the Fennec Fox outdoor area. Um, Not much else to say there. I like how it turned out. There's always challenges trying to build for these tiny little animals with the terrain and the traversable area, but I made it work. So here you'll actually see I transitioned from using the stalactite pieces to using the just stone cladding pieces because it works better, as I mentioned earlier. But I move on to building for the crested porcupine, which is absolutely fantastic looking animal in the game, if I do say so. I am really, really pleased with how it turned out. I know a lot of other people are as well. It's definitely like the main selling point of the most recent animal pack, even though the rest of it is a little lackluster. But we can brush that to the side. It really makes me like wonder and question like what the future of this game is. I don't know. I'm in like a different position, I feel like, from a lot of people because I haven't been playing since launch. I've been playing for a year and pretty much only building in this zoo for the past year. But like I'm just coming into it now when, people are saying that the game is getting close to the end of its life cycle. I don't want to believe that that is true, if I'm being honest with you. I feel like there's a lot more that can be done in this game, for sure. I don't know necessarily what will be done. It's kind of hard to say what the future of Planet Zoo is, but I am still really enjoying the game. I want to keep playing it and keep having new things, even though I still haven't built for like even half of the animals that already exist in the game, because there were already tons of DLCs by the time I started playing. But I'm excited, but like also hesitant for the future of Planet Zoo. I feel like specifically the walkthrough exhibits, have been really underutilized, and I feel like I should probably make a video about that. I have some thoughts about potential uses for the walkthrough exhibits and what Frontier might have in store. Maybe just like a prediction. And I'm hoping that there's more stuff. Obviously everyone's been wanting birds and fish and all that stuff. I am not sold on there ever being fish and fully aquatic animals in the game, but like I feel like birds are out there somewhere. We shouldn't give up on the birds just yet. I feel like there's potential for them to still come to the game, even if it's just in the walkthrough exhibits. Like, we have animals with flying animations. Like, speaking of flying animation animals, you would think that this would be the perfect place to put the Egyptian fruit bats, because Nocturnal house. But I already have a plan for the Egyptian fruit bats. I have a different place for them, and it's gonna be lit whenever I actually get around to doing that. I'm not sure if my plan's gonna work because it will involve free build breaking the game. So we'll see. We will see if it works. But like I mentioned, this is more of a amusement park than just like pure zoo. Like, it's not just about going and looking at animals, it's also about entertainment and stuff. So I'm gonna try and like build a ride in the game at some point, and I want to have bats in the ride, and it's gonna be lit. But I don't know if that's gonna work. I'll just have to find out. And yeah, I also have to plan where I'm gonna be putting all the other animals from this pack, which I haven't really figured out yet. Because something I want to do in this zoo is like make every habitat feel unique and interesting, even if it's like the springbok and just the springbok, even though wherever the springbok ends up, it's definitely going to be a mixed species habitat, because I feel like I just can't make that animal interesting on its own. But anyways, I moved on to the roofing here. I think this is something called like uh, gravel and tar roof. I think I was looking into it. This is the kind of thing that you see in like modern buildings, the roofs like this, and then you also just see like a bunch of random stuff on top of these flat roof modern buildings. And to be honest, I didn't know what any of it was, so I just started throwing stuff on top of this building randomly and being like, yeah, that looks good. And I feel like nobody else really knows what any of that stuff on top of the buildings is, unless you're a construction worker. It took me a second to remember the word. Yeah, and then I started making these custom automatic doors, which turned out like okay-ish. To be honest, I spent a little bit too long on this. I might cut out the rest of me making these doors. You'll see it in the what's it called? The tour. Yes, I'm forgetting words, but yeah, I'll just show the rest of it in a second. I finished off the interior by putting some like these palm signs on the walls. I colored them so that they weren't all just ugly and white like that. They still are like kind of ugly, but I like the vibe that they bring. And then the last thing I do here is I throw a bunch of these little light globes. That's not what they're called. The bobble lights. That's what they're called. The light globes. I threw a bunch of these around on the ceiling to sort of simulate there being a bunch of stars. I wanted this building to make you feel like you were transported into the Sahara Desert in the middle of the night when you walk inside. At least get as close to that feeling as possible without actually, teleporting you to the Sahara Desert. But hey, what? That's all the speed build. I'm running out of time. Here's the tour. You want to watch that, right? All right. So I was a big dummy dumb before, and I stuck my microphone way too close to my keyboard, so you could pick up all my loud keys going clickety clack. So I'm gonna go ahead and record this tour again really quickly. This is mostly complete so far. So you come out, you have the aardvark habitat here, or at least the outdoor part. There's no aardvark showing up today, you know, normal zoo stuff. And then on the other side, you have the little outdoor area for the porcupines with this nice little fun water park here. I thought that was a cool idea. And then we go through these sliding doors that I spent way too much time making. And they're like mid. Actually, hang on. What's going on? You know, something ain't right. I didn't duplicate this one over. Anyways, or duplicate it over properly. Anyways, let me real quick turn this over to night because it doesn't work in the daytime because of the way lighting in Planet Zoo works. So we have the exhibits here. You know, they are exhibits. I did the best I could with them to make them more interesting. Make it seem like there's no glass and it's just like a big rock formation with a bunch of animals on it. I didn't know what to do with the tops here, so I just left it blank for now. Like I said, it's not finished yet. There's still a little bit of stuff to do in here. But here we have the aardvark, and you can see one there going outside. But yeah, the indoor part for the aardvark habitat. I really like the way like all the lighting turned out. Like, I have all these like lights that are supposed to be like stars, so I thought that was cool. And then I have like the little spotlights on the inside. Ooh, look, this aardvark is like perfectly framed by the spotlight. It looks great. Really happy with that. Then I have the sand cat in here. We're probably not gonna see one because I only have one in here. Moving on, fennec fox over here. I have multiple fennec foxes in here. Oh, there's one. There it goes, running around at my mediocre frame rate. And then over here we have the porcupines. They're actually both right here, eating out of the feeder. How nice of them to show up for my little tour. And this is their area. And then you go back around outside. That is that. And if I turn the daylight back on, and then we can go around to the back, there are the outdoor areas for both the sand cat as well as the fennec fox. And the idea behind this area back here was it's just going to be like a little quiet corner, a little dead end where you can just come and like stop and see a couple of little animals and like relax in some shade on some benches or something. Just like more of a secluded area. I really like the way this turned out. Obviously, I haven't built any of the seating area yet, but I felt like that wasn't necessary to do at this point. Like I said, it's not 100% done. There still is work to do, but I'm satisfied with where it's at. I think it looks great, to be honest. The thing I've enjoyed about recording this stuff for YouTube is that it forces me to actually finish the things that I start, more or less. It's not quite done yet, but I've just been working just on this until it's been like mostly done to a point where I'm satisfied, because I struggle normally to actually finish things that I start. There's just half finished things all over this zoo that I've been working on and off of for the past year. But this is looking really good. I'm really pleased with it. So if you made it this far in the video, thank you for watching. If you want to see more of Irwin Memorial Zoo, drop a sub, drop a like, all the YouTuber stuff. Yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye.